So this session is going to be about expression, right? The clarity of expression. This is what was one of the pieces in the first presentation we had. Remember? So I'll give you a quick recap of what I discussed last 3 sessions maybe, or 2 sessions?
3 sessions.
3, no? 3 sessions. Okay. So the first is what I told you was clarity of thought. So basically we discussed about who are you going to present it to, who's the audience, right? What exactly are you going to talk about, the clarity on the content, right? So these are the kind of things that we said. I also talked about clarity of who you are and what you're doing. These are also some of the things that you have to keep in mind. Okay. And one session we talked about organizing content. So how do you organize the content and so on and so forth. I think the broad thing that I mentioned in that point, in that session was, hey, you take the stuff that is simpler, easier, and also more important, right? And put that first. So that way that is how you sort of organize your content and so on. You guys remember?
Yeah.
Right. I think some of the comics there were probably something that you would remember more than the content itself. Okay. So today we are going to talk about so how do you deliver? So when we talk about delivery, and essentially I'm also going to talk about how do you bring clarity of expression. Okay. So how do you make it clear? I think one of the sessions Swap had a question, right? So basically, so I say something, they perceive something else. So how do I avoid it, right? So I think, one of the things that I really like in terms of thinking about anything basically is what is in our control versus what is not in our control. Okay. So what is in our control is underrated. Okay. What is out of our control is overrated. Right. So without going too far, I want to tell you about a small story. Okay. Of a poor guy who did not feel that things were going right. Okay. And at that time, actually, a foreign country was invading our country at that point in time. Okay. And so he was a teacher, right? And what he did was that he, with his sheer brain power, he raised an army, okay, and also toppled at that point in time the largest kingdom, and went about uniting the whole country. Okay? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Alexander. Hello?
No.
Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel?
No. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he had the backing of the Indian government at that time. Right? I think he also did a similar thing, but he did it by force. Okay? There are similarities, there's no doubt about that. But I think Patel, he was more about brute force. That's why they built a statue of him with iron. Right? Great man for sure, but brute force. So this is Chanakya. Right? I think it's a story that you guys should be familiar with. If you would like, I think they're all the old series is online. Okay, you might want to go about it. But the point is, let's come back to the point, which is that what you have in your control And by the way, why do I say, why do I take the example of Chanakya? Because he did what's in his control, and he brought the whole situation around the country in his control. Okay, by just focusing on what is it that he can do. So beyond the fact that he's a great patriot and all of that stuff. And by the way, the term that followed after Chanakya is considered the golden period in India's history. Okay, I think Chanakya and Chandragupta laid the foundation, and what came after that is considered a golden period. Anyway, so I think what we have in our control, okay, is what is of beauty here. Okay, so what people do, what they don't do is not in our control. So their phone is going to ring, right? Or something else is going to happen. Somebody is worried about, maybe their exams or their classmates, right? Or something else that's going on, right? Or maybe somebody had a fight at home and came, right? He has problems with his boss, right? Do you have any of this in your control? Right? What we have in our control is what is it that we can do, okay? And when you do that well, you can basically capture the whole audience's attention, okay, without being overtly seeking attention, right? And be able to deliver the point, and after your session is over, potentially you have changed the audience a little bit, okay, in your own way, okay? And that's the power of this, very, very powerful. Okay, so when we talk about expressing something, okay, broadly we are talking about the following things. Okay, one is what's the language you're using, okay, what's the message you're delivering, right? So that is very clear. So but beyond that, there is also one more, which is the body language that you're using. Okay, so has anybody done any bit of research on body language? Just trying to understand. I'm sure maybe some of you maybe very sharp at it, but
Yeah, I did.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
At the time of MBA, there will be a few seminars I have to attend. So at that time, I searched for how to be our body language at the time of presentation. So that kind of thing, actually.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. So, so body language is the language that you use without saying a thing. All right. So, see, I think once you become a little bit more perceptive, right? I think I'm sure you already are. So I'm just saying that there is probably more room there. But once you do that, you will be able to know if you see somebody, right? You'll be able to know what is the mindset they have without them having to say anything, right? Each one of us are continuously communicating with that body language. Okay, so so typically this is the reason actually for our interviews. I insist, especially when it is telephonic, I insist that there are video calls, okay, and not just telephonic calls, okay? Because so if I want to know just about whether the candidate is good at technical skills, then probably a regular call would be sufficient. Just the voice call would be sufficient, right? But I'll be able to know so much more about the candidate by looking at the individual, okay, which I'll not be able to get otherwise, okay, which is a big input that goes into whether or not we want to sort of move forward. So what can body language tell you? So first of all, I want you to know also that we have to give audience the due credit, okay? What do I mean by that? So I want you to know that audience is actually much smarter than we are, okay? And so there are two different tasks that we are doing, by the way. So when you are presenting, right, you are presenting something that so you have to, all the stuff that we talked about, you have to be good at all of that stuff, okay, before you can make an impression with the audience, okay. But for the audience, what is the task that they are up to? Tell me. They have to figure out whether this speaker is making sense or not, right? They have to decide whether this guy is interesting or not, right? And they will know very easily, and they will judge you by the end of the session. They'll judge you whether you have made a point, whether you have been able to make an impact or not, right? So the audience's response will be reasonably clear. See, the way they respond, the way, they, sorry to use the term, but the way they clap, we don't want to go after claps, but the way they clap, the way they look at you after the session is over, right? They will clearly communicate whether they liked it or not. Okay. And also they have an easier task to do. What is the task that they have? They have to sort of judge you. They are obviously interested in knowing, but eventually they judge you whether you have done a good job or not. I don't want you to get nervous because of this, but they judge you. But I want you to know your task as a speaker, as a presenter, requires much more preparation, clarity of thought, all that we have discussed, when compared to what they have to do. Okay, that's one part. So first of all, your task is a little more difficult, their task is a little easier. But on the other hand, there are a lot of smart people sitting in the audience. They all can figure out who you are, what you are, and all of that very easily. And we cannot do a hiding task, if that's what we are trying to do, that is. Okay, we cannot do it. Okay, they can tell you, okay, they can read you like an open book. Okay, they can tell you if you have prepared or not. Okay, they can tell you if you are nervous or not. Okay, they can tell you whether you are saying something that you don't know, okay, but you still said it, for example. They can easily figure out. Okay, some people, like, just like that, they'll play down the audience. Okay, you guys tell me, oh, come on, man, you guys do much better, things like that, even though the person may not have it in him or her, but we don't have to necessarily use it. So they look down upon, and they just act. Some people like overact, overstate, understate. All of this people can easily see through. Okay, people are smart. I want you guys to know it. Okay, so if we want to put up an act, it's not going to be possible. Okay, even if we think we are going to, it's not going to be possible. The best thing to do is just to be honest, plain, and be what you are. Okay, so fix the main thing, which is, okay, prepare well, okay, and be the person who wants to contribute. Okay, so in our case, it will be like this, right? So we are doing these sessions, right? The sessions are because you guys are going to experiment with these sessions. That's the reason why I'm telling you guys. So we have a sort of an activity in which all of us want to grow, right? All of us want to improve, right? And this is a means to achieve that goal. Yes or no, right? If we subscribe to that, automatically our thinking will be all right. Are you guys getting what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that's just a sort of point that I wanted to make. So I would say, okay, if you just come to this session thinking, hey, I want to learn myself. Okay, I want to share what I want to and ensure that all of them know what I have, right? Or what I have learned, right? And promote a sort of a culture of learning. Then it will be relatively easy for us to make much better presentations. Okay. Okay. So and the body language, etc., will set itself all right, because the key for the body language is what you're thinking. Okay, and if you set that right, the body language will flow through automatically. Okay, and this is the reason why I said yesterday, hey, let's do it like, we are like making an offering, right? Kind of a thing. So anyway, you come with that kind of a mindset, you come with the intention to contribute, everything will set itself all right. You don't have to worry about, what body language, you don't have to worry about it. It will come through. Okay, it will come through, because it's just an expression of what you're thinking. Okay, there will be minor things here and there, we can set them all right. Okay, yeah. So we'll come to the core of this right now. How do you express well? Okay. So see, unfortunately, at the cost of repetition, right? I'll also have to talk a little bit. I don't want to elaborate, but I'll have to say your own, knowing of the topic, clarity, right, about your audience, how much depth you want to go. All of those will have a role to play in terms of what you're expressing, because what you're expressing is really in words and in actions, you are basically putting together what you have done in all of that. Correct? Yes or no? So you guys know this concept, what is the strength of a chain?
Definitely.
Have you heard of this the weakest link, right? A chain is as strong as the weakest link. Okay, so, and that is very much true here as well, because so let's say you falter on the timing, for example, or you falter on the depth that you have to go through, right? So somebody is thinking, you will just go on the surface. You thought, okay, this is a PhD, right? And you're like, this is a PhD audience, and you started digging deeper and deeper, right? So all of these are like, it's like a chain, right? Okay, I'm just kidding, okay? When I say that, to give you that PhD example, right? All I wanted to say was that you made a difference. You made a mistake, for example, in terms of the amount of depth that we want to go into, right? Remember, I told you about one particular thing that I talked about, where I was making a presentation from a different, to an individual from a different country. Remember, I talked about one individual, where I said she's from a country, the country is not really known for being very nice, right? So I made a big mistake there, right? Where I said I started going even slightly in depth. It's not a big in depth, and I felt that is what the person wanted to know, and she quickly pulled back and said, no, I don't want to know this. Okay, she wanted to know all the symptoms, not really the core thing that we wanted to do. She didn't want to understand. She doesn't understand also. So if I make a mistake like that, okay, then what happens is that becomes the weakest link. Okay, and it will have an impact on the rest of what you're doing. Okay, and it will impact the whole thing. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, yeah. Anyway. So now we'll move on. Okay, so we will come to what I feel is maybe, let me ask you this question. What do you guys feel is when we say expression, how do you express well? What are the thoughts that come to your mind?
Facial expression, body language, clarity of thoughts.
Okay.
I think it's
Shravan, you are on mute, by the way. Go ahead, Jagdish.
So overall level, like the way the content is being delivered. So,
yeah. Okay, got it. Sure. Okay, understood. Okay, Shravan, you had something.
Actually, in the way how we express in a clarity way, actually, expression in a clarity.
Express in a clear way. Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. So English is one of the key pieces I thought you will talk about. You did not speak about that. So which also plays an important role in the whole thing. So I will still talk about that, because I think there could be some misconceptions, what I feel are misconceptions, and I will talk about that. Okay. So first of all, English tends to play an important role in the way we deliver. Okay. It can become a bottleneck for many of us. So it was a big bottleneck for me, for sure. Okay. And it's not like I have completely overcome it, but I think I have made some progress with it. So I'm from a small town. Okay. So it's not like I had I think I probably have mentioned in the past that some of my classmates have done a better job than I was able to, okay, in learning English. Okay, one of my teachers actually wrote a comment on a paper. This was much later. This is after my intermediate actually. And what he said was, this is just a dump of all the things that you know. Okay, is what he said. All right. But I didn't know what to do. I did not go back to the teacher and said, teacher, can you help me with it? I did not say that. And also long after, so I got into my job and all of that. And, my boss at the time told me, this is boring. I wrote something in a PPT and he said, this is boring. Okay. And that got me thinking. And actually, this is much later, where internet is much more prevalent. And I started digging in terms of what is it that I can do. So I learned there is actually a book called On Writing Well. Okay, I may have told this to some of you. Maybe Shravan, I told you this about? No, I'm not sure. We have that book in our office, by the way. Okay, it's called On Writing Well. Very good book in terms of how you want to write well. Okay. And that sort of opened the secret for me in terms of what needs to be written and so on and so forth. So that is one way I learned. So the point I'm trying to make is, if you feel that you are not that good, okay, you should be very open to learning English, okay. And as you know, with the sessions that we are having, we are able to learn some. So see, one of the things that we feel is that we are not very confident about the words to use. We are not very confident about grammar that we use also, okay? Because we don't have that much of a grounding, right? I see English teachers routinely making mistakes, without any disrespect to them. And it is not our primary language and so on. We are at a strange place where we don't know our mother tongue well, we don't know English well, we don't know any language well, okay? That's the situation in which we graduate. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. My daughter was disturbing me, so I thought So we are in a situation where we don't know English and we don't know our mother tongue well enough. Okay, so that's the situation we are in. Okay, we can blame the education system, but let's not blame it. Let's take responsibility for who we are right now. Okay, who we were at that point in time, what we learned, what we did not learn, it's none of our concern. Okay, what can we do at this point in time? Okay, so I would, if I were you, I would say, so I would probably be lower than any of you I was at that point in time. Okay, so if you learn now, I'm sure you can make much more progress than what I have been able to and what I can. Okay, so you have a lot of opportunity at your hand. Take your time, learn English. Let's just learn all the grammar and all of that stuff. So what that does is it will remove that doubt in your mind. Okay, you will be confident about that particular sentence that you want to speak about. Okay, so that is one piece. Okay, and as I said, take your time. And the other thing is that there is no need for you to use flowery language. Okay, there's absolutely no need, as long as you are clear. Okay, that will do the job. Okay, so there is one particular principle that I learned in marketing context that is very useful. So this guy actually runs a very popular and in fact very good marketing focused channel. Okay, and I learn a lot from that. It's called Marketing Experiments. Okay, very interesting one. So one of the things that he says is, and we have already sort of learned, and we were
Hello?
You guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
There is a bit
Hi
lag.
guys, are you able? Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Sorry, my Zoom restarted. Okay, I think it will. Let me see. If it doesn't just reset in just a minute, what I'll do is I'll just change my source. Okay. Wi-Fi can act up once in a while, and when that happens, my Zoom restarts. Is it okay now, guys?
Yeah. Your voice is clear, Chaitanya, but video is.
Okay. Okay. All right. Got it. Give me 1 second while I'll quickly just switch to mobile source. Hey guys, is this any better?
Yeah.
Better? Okay, great, awesome. So I was that there's no need for you to use flowery language, right? Is that where I am?
Marketing quotation.
The marketing, yeah. So it's called, like I mentioned, it's called Marketing Experiments. It's a very good channel. So one of the key things that he says, okay, so is this. He says online, clarity trumps persuasion. Okay, clarity trumps persuasion. Clarity is so much more important than persuasion. If you are clear enough, okay, that is what is required, as opposed to saying, oh, I know I'm a great salesperson, I can persuade you. Persuasion is not required. Okay, in a very different context, I was in a sort of this happened in T-Hub. One person came and he was like talking to people about his experience, etc. And he talked about how they went about doing marketing. Okay, and they are in specialty chemicals business. Okay, I think Jagadish will relate to this very well, right? Because he's from chemical engineering background. So people use a lot of. I'll make this very quick. It's a long story actually. People use his customers are all researchers and people like that, because they are the people who buy these specialty chemicals. Okay. Or they can also be like large companies and all, which require a special chemical and so on and so forth. These are the kind of companies that their customers are. But most of the people who look for these, they look online for the chemical properties and what it can do, what it can't do, what are the properties of the chemical. All of those things is what they're interested in. Okay. So what they did was they engaged a number of PhDs to first find out accurately what the properties are, and they put them online. Okay, that itself drove their sales much higher, because people then looked for these chemicals. They came to their website, they saw what it has, what it doesn't have, what are the properties and so on. Then they started buying. Okay, so the point that I'm making there is sort of, is an example for this, where you're saying this is clarity trumps persuasion. Got it, no? Got it? So you just are clear about it. You don't have to be sold, you're sold. Okay, and you come and buy it. So the point is, again, you don't have to use flowery language. You just have to be clear about what you need to express. That's all. And if you do that, automatically, the job that you are supposed to do there will be done. Okay. So let me just. So what this means is, you got to be clear from a grammar, that kind of a perspective. Number one. And number two, use your own vocabulary to the extent that you have. You don't have to, sort of think that, hey, I don't know the words to be able to express this. Okay. However, it is not like you will always be able to use appropriate and apt words. Okay. So for that, you need to prepare. And when you prepare, you have time to be able to use the right words and come to the right words. Okay. And after that, you always have to rehearse. Without rehearsal, it's not going to happen. Okay, you have to rehearse. Okay, so Jagadish, you remember during our presentation, we did like minimum 6 to 7 rehearsals, yeah, something like that, right? We just went. So I don't know, Jagdish, if you remember, with every rehearsal we made progress. Do you remember that?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Okay. Yeah, I was making a lot of progress actually. I never thought before that rehearsal can have such an impact, but I think Chaitanya and Sinha, they were already good for the first time only, but I was very bad, and by the end of the 6th rehearsal I got into a decent shape.
See, yeah. So just the rehearsal will just keep on improving you.
Yeah.
That it's one of the key ways of improving yourself. In fact, one of the best ways of doing it is, you see these days we have Zoom, right? You just record yourself, okay, and you watch it, okay, and see how much impact it will make. Because many things, especially you're nervous, you'll not be able to notice, okay. You'll be able to notice everything from the grammar to what point you're making, how fast you are, how slow you are, right? Everything you'll be able to notice, and it will be like a telltale story. And even more than someone else giving you feedback, okay, you watching it is the best way to do it, okay. See, some time ago, without the tools like Zoom or even camera, right, on your phone, see how difficult it will be, right? Usually you have to show it to someone else and they have to tell you, and even then it will be a little difficult for you because you wouldn't realize it. They will tell you, okay, and you have to adapt, and then they will just confirm whether you have done it properly or not, right? But if it is Zoom, it will be a telltale story. You will be surprised how you're doing it yourself, okay. Do it, and then we will talk after that, okay. So no matter how much I tell you how good a biryani is, right, is it going to satisfy you? Right? It is not going to. Once you have it, then you will know. You will know. If it is your own biryani, you will know for sure. All right. Okay. Okay. So by far, I think that's the most powerful thing. I think there is one thing you want to take away, okay, which is to rehearse and to record and watch yourself. Yeah. Okay. So there is actually one point I forgot about English. Okay. That's one thing I want to tell you right now, which is that you guys know Renan Martin. Does anybody know Renan Martin?
Yeah. I have used his books for direct learning.
Oh, very good. Okay. So you must be very good at it then. Right. So Renan Martin book ranges from, I think, 400 pages to maybe about 1,000 pages. There are two versions as far as I remember. There's an abridged version. The abridged version runs for 300 pages. And the longer version, I think, goes on for about 1,000 pages. Something. I could be totally wrong here, okay? But I do remember this thick book, right? Has anybody seen? Is it like a 100-page book, or is it like a 300-page book, or is it maybe 400-500 pages?
400-500 pages.
400-500 pages book, okay? So what I want to tell you is you got to be very, very good at all of the pages, right? Which is never going to happen, right? So you don't have to buy the Renan Martin book, okay? But what I can tell you is this, okay? If you just focus on about 30 pages, okay, just papers, I'm talking about pages, okay? 30 pages, if you are very good at it, okay, you can potentially make 3 times, 4 times, 5 times improvement in your current English. Okay, this is like hitting the bullseye. Okay, it just does the job. One bullet is sufficient, right? And if there is that bullet, this is that bullet. Okay, and which is what we are focusing on so far as English is concerned. Okay, the stuff that we are already doing is that bullet that will do the job for you and will help you improve. Okay, so you might also want to volunteer for some of those, so that you will get some of that use yourself. Okay, and apart from learning it from the sections. Okay, So one other point that I want to talk about, and then I will conclude the whole presentation series actually, is this. In rehearsal, okay, one of the key things that I find very useful is to jot down the points, and where I feel I am weak, okay, where I feel I am not able to clearly express myself, right, I will write it down to the extent that I will almost write the exact sentence, okay, and then I might want to come back later. So once I get the right words, once I get the right meaning, once I get the right organization of that sentence, I will just, go back and not have to read it verbatim, okay, because at that point in time I would have gotten the right sentences and what I want to be expressing, I'll be clear about it, and then I will unwind it at that point in time. But before I unwind, what I do is I write the exact sentence, almost like the exact sentence that I want to speak, and then practice that a few times, okay. So you might also want to do this, which is in the childhood, right, whenever you don't know something, right, and then you're not able to get your pronunciation right, the teacher will say repeat it, right. Now the same thing is going on for me in my music class, by the way, okay. So I would have just gotten a little bit of it, and my teacher would say no, repeat it 5 times, okay, and then I just repeat it. So just like the rehearsal thing, right, so repeat it 4 times, 5 times, and when I do that, by the 5th time, 6th time, or maybe 10th time, if I'm weak, I will get a little better at it. So this is also something I do. I thought I will just mention that for you guys so that we can, so okay, I think I'm more or less done with what I wanted to talk about so far as this particular area is concerned, clarity of expression, right. I will just recap, I will just conclude, right, the whole session, and then I will open it up for questions, okay. So see, we talked about it, so when you experience this, you will understand what I'm talking about. And I feel clarity is like a hanger on which the rest, everything basically hangs, okay. Whether it is the message that you want to deliver, the goal that you have, the structure, right, the English, the expression, right, even the audio visuals, right, if clarity is what drives you, then you will also use audio visuals to bring that clarity, as opposed to more for entertainment or anything like that, okay. So I think, those are all the things that I wanted to talk about, and this my session is concluded at this point in time. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to take it up and contribute. Go for it, guys.
It's not a question, it's experience. What I used to do is, sometimes if I have to present something and I am just forgot about in between, so I used to write that around 10 to 15 times on a piece of paper before going at that again, so that I can remember it.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. Yeah.
So Chaitanya, just slow. It's not a question, but maybe like asking for more information, maybe for that kind of thing. So we talked about this point, clarity, right? When we're more in terms of like when we're trying to convey information, if you have more clarity, that will be more easy for the conversation to happen in an effective way. So that is, and the other thing, the conclusion that you mentioned, it can be also helpful for from the goal point of view in achieving certain goal. maybe not especially specifically from a conversation point of view, from maybe something that you wanted to do. So like, do you have any other points on that particular perspective, like in achieving certain goal, how the clarity like plays a role?
In trying to get to understand your goal, or I'm just trying to understand your thoughts a little more.
Yeah, so let's say I have a certain goal of maybe to be there in like a job or something, or whatever it is, the exam or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just trying to understand what should be the thought process in getting more clarity out of this process.
Got it. Okay.
How
to get more clarity? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a great question. So let me just think about it.
Yeah.
So these are some random thoughts, Jagadish, on this. Okay, so not in any particular order. So see, clarity means that there is a ambiguity with something, right? It could be that we are probably totally lost about something, right? We have no idea what to do, type of thing, right? Or it is that you have competing options, okay, about something, right? So these are the following things that I can think of when you say I don't have clarity. If it is also lack of clarity about something, like a technical aspect, you just go and refer that. That is a very simple thing for us to get clarity on, because it's already written and we know exactly what we have to know, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So where it is, so far as if you don't know what to do at all, you're totally lost about it, right? Then what I tend to do is I tend to sort of think more about it. I tend to give it a little bit more time, right? I tend to research more. I tend to ask people, what is it that they have gone through. So I might bounce off these ideas with somebody, right? These are some of the things that I tend to do, okay? So that will give me some additional material, okay? In terms of, it will just give you some stuff to think about. Earlier you were lost, and now you have a little bit more to think about.
Got it, yeah.
But this doesn't necessarily give you clarity, okay? Not necessarily, it will just give you some stuff to think about.
Got it.
Okay? So clarity is basically, it can go really in depth, Jagadish, okay? So if you look at it, people look for, some of the highest people actually look for, so if you go talk to people like, let's say, maybe Ratan Tata when he was there, or, maybe the current chairman of Tata Group, or these kind of people, many times they don't have the clarity of thought what needs to be done, okay? So they go reach out to people, okay? So it has a lot of value in life, okay? So let me leave it there. I don't want to go into that much further. But so associated with this is, now I'll come to the other area, which is there seem to be a lot of competing areas, okay? Competing thoughts, right? On what to do, okay? So this is where I feel your principles, okay, and what you want to do will come into play. Okay.
Yep.
So there was one teacher, okay, that I was in the presence of that teacher at that point in time, okay, when this particular thing happened, okay, and it has had a big impact on me, okay. So this was the time when service tax was just coming into play, Okay, before that there was no service tax. Think of it. Okay, it has become a big source of revenue for the government at this point. GST, the goods and services tax. At that time, service tax was just introduced, and I happened to be in his presence. And he's a CA, okay, chartered accountant. So somebody, one of the people who work with him came to him, okay, and said, somebody just, a client just came, okay. So they gave me so I gave him the invoice, and he's asking us to do something about service tax.
Okay.
So, and then the teacher said, he's a Tamilian, and he responded in Tamil. He said, "Very valli ille." What does it mean, Jairam?
No other way.
No other way. Right? He said, no other way, which tells you the clarity of his thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so his clarity of thought helped him in this. So what I tend to do is, when there are very competing issues, okay, that I have to deal with, okay, I tend to close my eyes and think about it for some time. Okay, you can call it meditation, but this is what I do. Okay, when we do that, what happens is, all our superficial sort of thoughts settle down. Okay, and it gives you better clarity of thought. Okay, and there it is the principles that guide you in doing what you want to do. Okay, so principles are generally long lasting, right? Your aspirations are short term, right? Because oftentimes you change your aspirations completely.
Yes.
Or you feel, okay, I have achieved this, now I have to look for something more.
Yeah.
But principles are not something that change on a day-to-day basis. They stay constant. They are far bigger than us. Okay, in fact, we hang on them. Right? We hang on them. Right? So yeah. Anyway, so I don't know if you asked for that much or not, but I thought I
No.
would give you
It was a lot.
Okay. I think once again we have taken a long time. Any quick other questions, guys? Time is going to be up, folks. Shravan, you have something you wanted to speak for sure.
Actually,
Not sure if it's a question or not, but
yeah, it's a question, Jatina, but I thought I would like to ask you. So, if the presentation must be every time will be formal, or we can maybe it's like a informal kind of thing in a particular time.
Okay. Anyone wants to respond to that?
That depends on the audience and the topic we have chosen.
Okay. Anyone else? See, if you have all your friends, right, and you're still talking to them about something, you're still making a presentation, right? So, in a way, it can be informal, among colleagues, etc. So there is no need for you to feel formal about it. Okay, so there will be some cases where you are compelled to. So, for example, it's a big audience, some 300 people have come or 500 people come, and you're presenting to them, and you cannot obviously present it like you're presenting to your friends, right? So obviously these are there. So once again, think about the audience, etc. And whatever you feel is appropriate, go ahead do that. Yeah. What else? Jagdish, you also had something. Sorry, Jairam, you also had something you wanted to.
I just wanted to convey what Swab said. More about the audience decides whether it's formal or not. Swab pointed out. I don't know.
Yeah. Depends on the audience, even depends on the context also a little bit. Okay, so sometimes so you are in a off-site kind of a thing where people are a little easygoing and stuff. You can be a little informal, but it's always better to err on the safer side as opposed to riskier side. Okay, instead of assuming, you can actually a little be slightly on the more formal side if it is necessary for you. Okay. Anyway, so I think, yeah. But anyway, so with us, right? With us, you can be a little informal. There's no problem, right? As long as we stick to the point, get our stuff done, there's no issue, right? So for example, we pick up, telling jokes is okay. There's no problem, right? See, telling jokes, telling stories eases people, gets you their attention, because that is who we are, right? We want to laugh, right? So is there anybody here who doesn't want to smile, who doesn't want to laugh and all of that? If you tell a joke, people would want to, you get their attention, right? And of course, it has to be relevant though. It has to be exactly to the point. It has to make a point. If it doesn't make a point, it becomes frivolous. You'll get the attention, but you can't get respect out of it. Right? Yeah. Okay, I think it is quite a lot of time at this point. So we will hold off right now. Okay. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your attention.